Hello and welcome to another AIC video. It has been a hot minute since I've been able to put out a video. I apologize for that. But today we're going to be looking again at my Ideapad 1 with the AMD 3020E processor. So this is again the brother to the Intel Celeron N4020. And so far on these laptops I showed the hardware, I did some performance testing. I did have a couple videos out for gaming on the N4020. But now we're going to have a video on the AMD 3020E CPU. So this does have Vega 3 graphics, and in benchmarking it showed to be fairly superior to the N4020 processor. Now there's a couple things I've done with this system, a little bit different from the previous system, just as kind of a trial. So I'll probably redo this video more closely matching the previous video as far as the games played and the setup. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Roblox is the same though. We're going to go ahead and load it up. We're just going to do jailbreak. It's the one I've played on all these systems, just so that we can have, like I said, a fairly level benchmark. One thing I keep getting is this MS Gaming overlay link. I don't know why, but I keep getting it constantly, so I'll have to look into that. Play. We have Fraps running. You can see the frame rates up there in the left hand corner, running about 30 to 40 frames a second right now. This is better than on the Celeron for sure. The biggest thing I notice is just the smoothness. So frame rates, you're not getting a million frames a second, but the overall smoothness it isn't as jittery as the Celeron seemed to be. So we're not going to spend too much time here in Roblox, but it is a game I get asked about a lot. So in my experience, most Roblox, there's different worlds, games, whatever, built within Roblox. They all run fairly similarly. So just because they're all running the same engine and stuff. So the thing that does slow it down, if it's a really busy game, if there's a lot of people moving around, that will slow it down. But other than that, it runs fairly similar across the board. All right, did I miss the ladder out of here? Nope. Okay. I'll just go grab a car and drive around. And again, we're getting over 30 frames a second, which makes this game very playable. And it definitely is a better experience than on the on this Intel CPU. All right, we'll go ahead and close out of this. Close out of this. All right, next thing we're going to do is go ahead and open up Minecraft. Now, Minecraft's a game that really has changed in the last few years. It seems like every time they come out with new updates, it requires a more and more powerful system. So a laptop that I used to play this on and had fairly good success with previously, it just doesn't play as well on those older systems anymore. And so if you go back and look against the previous videos, you may go like, oh, it's not playing as well on this system as it was on a laptop I tested 4 or 5 years ago. And that's because the game has really changed in that time. Go ahead and open up single player. Just open up a world I've already created. And you kind of see this halo here. I don't know why my camera doesn't like to play nice with screens. I can't see that with my eyes at all. It looks perfectly fine to me. It's nice and bright and clear. These are actually really nice screens for this price point, for sure. The other thing that Minecraft really does is it really hits your storage pretty hard, especially when you're first loading up the game. And that's something that we'll see a lot on this here in a minute. You can see we're down. We only have 1 frame a second. It's just trying to do everything it can to load and process stuff off of the storage. And once we get things loaded in, it actually runs really, really well on here. It just takes longer than it should to get everything loaded in. So we're looking at, it's jumping between 30 and single digit frames. So we'll just give it a bit longer. We'll look at our options here, video settings. I have render distance out to 5 chunks. Graphics are fast. Smooth lighting is off. Use VSync is off. Particles is minimal. Clouds are off. So we have settings set pretty low on here. But come on, see, it's just that first 2 or 3 minutes of trying to play the game kind of sucks, and then it's back to being good. So you can see it can hit higher. I just sit here and everything on the screen is what it's showing. We're getting up into 60 frames a second, which is awesome. But when we move and it has to redraw something that it hasn't before. Now we can fix this a little bit by dropping that render distance down. But now, where before it was stuttering super bad, it's getting there. Okay. But yeah, in testing, I just had to wait for things to load. And once things load in, it's fine. And it runs great. See, we're getting up to 80 frames a second, which is some of the best graphics I've seen, or frame rates I've seen on these low-end systems. But it just hits that eMMC storage. And so I have actually ordered new connectors. So this system board has the pads for a M.2 slot, but the connector isn't there. And so I've actually ordered some connectors to see if we can't solder one on. I'm no good at soldering, so I hope I don't destroy the board. But it's something I'm definitely going to be trying for sure, because the storage is the downfall in the system. If you can find, see, now that we have things load in 80 frames a second, we're well above 90 frames a second. We're well above that minimum threshold of 60 frames a second to have something run real smooth, hitting 100 frames a second. So the CPU and graphics on this laptop are awesome. Again, I paid $160. It's been $160 again, or $170 again since I bought it. You can find it probably at Best Buy for under $200. I know on Lenovo.com it's right at about $210, something like that. Right now, prices change every day. That's why I'm kind of vague on prices, just because every time I go on to get the price is different than the day before. But yeah, it's an amazing system, CPU and graphics wise. It's the storage that lets this system down. And so if we can update that storage, it will definitely be something to consider. So let's go ahead and close out of Minecraft. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and open up Steam. Now Steam I did a little bit different, and I kind of regret doing what I did. Let me bring this up here. I went ahead and I installed, you see here, this SDXC card. I installed the games in Steam onto this because this only has a 64 gig storage. I'll come down here. And it's pretty consumed by just Windows updates and everything. And so I installed the SD card to install the Steam games to see just if it could be done that way, and it can, and two, to be able to install more games. The problem with that is that it is so slow. Oh my goodness. Just to download and install some of these games that are not very big, it took a literal day to download and install, just because it was just so slow, the storage. So what I'm probably going to do is uninstall, remove the SD card, and install just a couple of games directly to the laptop here, but obviously I can't do anything. I can't do everything, I should say. So the first game we're going to look at is Among Us. You see this game runs just fine. It's locked at 30 frames a second in the game. We're not going to go ahead and actually try to play a game, but it's locked at 30 frames a second. It won't go above that, and it plays just fine. So if you're looking for something to play Among Us, this laptop is excellent for that. Fall Guys. Let's go ahead and we will actually go ahead and play Fall Guys, because that actually does matter, and I can do it quickly. But you can see just how long. You see this window here. This is kind of highlighted. It just takes so long to load the game on the SD card. It's ridiculous. So I would definitely use an SD card to put like your media files on, like you have music or videos or documents, things like that. I would definitely have that if you have documents on there that are important. It would not be the only copy I had. SD cards are notoriously unreliable, but or I'd have it like syncing to like a Google Drive or something like that. But the SD card's great for that, but I would not try to install games to it. It just is so slow. Once again, we're being let down not by the CPU, not by the graphics, not by the memory, even though I would love to see more memory in these. If they had a minimum of 8 gigs, that would be amazing. But by the storage. Storage really kills it on these systems. And normally I play this with a controller. I don't have my controller right now, so we're going to go ahead and play with the keyboard. Hopefully there's some people actually on to play. There we go. I'll use my usual excuse for being a terrible player. I am playing in and around a camera, through a camera, so. And I have the graphics set to default, whatever the default setting is on here. It's basically low. Low everything is how it's set up. So we're just going to play, or fail, I should say, one round. I'm not going to get through this. I'll try, but I won't get to. So it looks like we're getting about 20 frames a second, which is not terrible, but not great. I definitely wouldn't try to be competitive with this system, but if you're just a casual gamer, if you're a kid, if you just have a need for a laptop that can just do some very basic tasks, and you sometimes want to play a game, this might be the option for you. Alright, I think that's probably pretty good. The first part of the game is hard just because it has the hardest part for the computer to deal with is all the people on the screen. You have all the different random movements that people are doing. So I go ahead and close out of this, leave show. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to skip Half-Life 2 and play Portal 2 just because Portal 2 is a higher game. You know, it has higher system requirements, so we'll take a look at that. I already know that Half-Life 2 runs great on these machines, so if you're into some older games, definitely something to consider. But Portal 2 is definitely a favorite of mine. My kids are going through it right now. They're really loving it. We'll just load up a random, whatever last play was. And once again, we're getting hit by that slow storage. It's just killer. This is just sitting there, not really spinning, not really doing anything. Come on. There we go. Oh, fell off. Oh, darn. Now it has to load again. There we go. I'm not using a gaming mouse. I'm just using just a cheapo mouse on here, because you're not going to spend $100 on a less than $200 on a laptop and $100 on a mouse. It's pretty good. We're getting almost 60 frames a second. I haven't messed with the settings there or whatever the default is. There's a lot of things moving around on the screen right now, and it seems to be able to handle them just fine. Looking pretty good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just Portal 3 up to here. There we go. We'll call that good. I think that's enough to get an idea. And I was going to show you Rocket League because that was working on here before, but let's see if it's just been crashing today. It won't launch, and I don't know why. I've restarted the computer several times. It just won't launch. It did an update that literally took a day and a half to update, and it's just kind of been stuck here. And now I think it updated the security, the anti-cheat, and in doing so, now it won't run on this system. I think it's because the storage is so slow it won't run, which is embarrassing. So yeah, it was down here and it just crashed out. So yeah, now we're back to play, and we have an update queued for. I was gonna be cheeky and play PUBG because it's not going to play well on here. But see, this is the problem. This reserving space that it's doing for this update should take a second. Like, it should take no time at all. We'll see if it even does it, but I won't make you wait through this. But this will take now half a day to update because I have it on the stupid SD card. So don't install your games to the SD card. It isn't worth it. It's a headache and it doesn't work. But we definitely will come back and take things off the SD card. Oh, we might play. It's only 82 megs. Let's see. Let's see if it even loads. But yeah, don't put stuff on the SD card. It's not worth it. I'm going to go through, clean up the main drive, and move some of these games over to the internal storage so that we're not dealing with this stupid SD card for the game installs, and we'll see if it improves performance at all. It definitely should improve responsiveness, but alright, so that took, like, I had to pause the camera because it was taking forever. That took about 15 minutes to do, which it should have taken like seconds to do. So let's see if this actually will load. So I'm not expecting much. PUBG is a pretty demanding game. So this is mostly just a joke. Uh, let's see if it actually launches. I haven't tried to launch this. And this MS Gaming Overlay link, whatever this is, I don't know if it's something new or what, but I gotta get rid of this. That is trying to load this constantly. It's annoying. Come on. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Just stop. So I think it's still trying to load. I want to open up Task Manager to see. Oh. Okay. Incorrect. Oh. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. That's fine. I don't care. Come on. Go away. Gaming overlay link. It is running and the introduction is whatever. Don't care. Come on. Oh, gotta get in the game. Yeah, it's dark band. I just don't see that in the on my side. That's just in the camera. I need a new camera. Anybody want to buy me a new camera? I'll take a new camera. Camera I have is like 7 years old, something like that. 6 years old. Come on. It's so slow. All right, it's not gonna work. It's just too slow. This game's not gonna be playable. But yeah, that's the gaming video on the AMD 3020E CPU. It is again based off the budget of the system. I paid $170 for this laptop. It is an amazing CPU. It is a really good processor. It has really good graphics. It's unfortunately let down by the stupid storage. eMMC storage is not an acceptable replacement for storage because you just get this. It's just sitting there. It's just trying to read the data. It's just trying to figure things out. And I know this is on the SD card, but it's the same kind of storage. And so, you know, we're sitting here and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and it just isn't okay. We're going to go ahead and try to play. It looks like it's finally loading up here. Close. We have a solo. Start. Yeah. When you're only getting 10 frames a second in the loading screen, you know this is not going to be good. Yeah, this isn't. I'm not going to try. This is going to be bad. But anyways, if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, complaints, criticisms, I'll take it all in the comment section down below. I'll do my best to answer those. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.